Okay, I've changed scenery. I've also changed phones. Um, so I'm now filming with Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. The previous video was filmed with a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. So there could be some differences in quality of video quality and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. The reason I changed is because in case I want to shoot any photospheres, I need Google Camera, which is installed on this phone. Okay. This is Oakmont Memorial Park in Pleasant Hill, California. It's actually on the border of Pleasant Hill and Lafayette. And I've been here many times. I do not know of anyone that is an associate of mine that is buried here, but a lot of people from the Contra Costa area are buried here, and so I could very well know somebody here, but I just don't know that I know they're here, if you know what I mean. Okay, so this is something I've dreamt about doing for a long time. Look at this. Oh my goodness. There's a signal. I mean, when I came in, there was a whole flock of turkeys. So there's a lot of turkeys here, and I might find a lot more feathers of theirs while I'm in here. But I have a personal understanding with my mom that if she's present or she's thinking about me or she's hanging around or whatever, she'll give me a feather. And usually a really beautiful feather. This feather is a little bit worn, but still, look at how beautiful the tip of it is, and that's magic enough for me. And so anyway, I've been thinking about doing cemetery stroll commentary videos for a long time, and I've just never done it. I've never done it, except now with this new camera mount. We're giving it a go. Okay, so on the topic of spending time in a cemetery, the term for being interested in cemeteries, I'm not saying it the right way. There's a term called taphophilia, T-A-P-H-O-P-H-I-L-I-A, actually, and it means the love of cemeteries. It might even mean something more specific, like the love of death. I'm going to have to look it up and be sure I'm saying the right thing. I don't want to mislead anybody, but anybody who's interested in cemeteries in this way that I like to spend time in cemeteries, is considered to be a taphophile, like a bibliophile, a person that loves books. And I am a bibliophile as well. I'm also an audiophile because I love music. Okay, so my interest in spending time in cemeteries goes all the way back to my childhood, when we used to spend a couple of weeks every summer with my mother's mother, it was called her Grandma Palmer, but her name was Thelma, and she was kind of like the self-announced guardian and caretaker of all of the cemetery, all the burial locations of everybody in our family. And so when we would visit her in Ohio, every day we'd be going to a different cemetery, and we'd visit every single person's grave that we were related to. I've gone back in recent years. In 2018, I was in Ohio, And I expanded the realm of the family burial locations beyond what Grandma Palmer had ever shown us. Maybe, further, maybe like 50 miles further out of, oh, you know what? I'm talking so much and I'm not taking any pictures, and I'm just walking past some just really amazing art and names and tombstones here. So I'm going to start doing that. This is part of my hobby. I like to take pictures of tombstones. So when I was there in 2018, and even this with the tree, the branch on it and the leaves, it's just very artistic, and I don't want to disturb it. And through online research, I was able to find more of our ancestors, like going back further generations, and I was able to find like my third and fourth great-grandfather who had been in the Civil War. I found where they were buried, and I used Google Maps to get to the cemetery where they were buried. I have pictures. It was amazing experience. And that's part of why I would like to live in Ohio. If I ever, get a chance to pack up and move away someplace, being in Ohio would have me in close contact of where all of our family dead are. And I would like to carry on the work that my grandmother did of being the family caretaker. I've thought about this for years. I've been thinking about the idea of doing this. And even today, even though the time I spend in cemeteries is kind of at a low right now compared to how active I've been in the past, coming to cemeteries for artistic purposes, but also for other purposes. And that's kind of what I wanted to get more into talking about today, is the other side of being a taphophile. And that is being interested in spirit communication. And beautiful big old oak tree here. Another feather. Little baby turkey feather, but that's still, hey Mom. Spirit communication, being a medium, being a channeler, being able to be sensitive to the energy of the presence of active spirits. A lot of people believe a stereotype that the dead don't hang out in cemeteries, that you cannot, you won't see any ghosts in a cemetery. And I could write a book on my thoughts and ideas about that. Oh my goodness, sweet little girl here. She was only 5. What? How old? No, she was 12. No, she was 2 years old. Sweet little 2-year-old girl. And she's got lots of friends that still come and visit her, and that's really good. Okay, so part of my theory is that if the remains of a living person are here, her ashes or her body, that's the strongest connection back to that being's physical experience of life on this planet during this last life that they lived. And I'm opening up the possibility to consider the idea of reincarnation by talking like this. But try to imagine that here, where her body is, where her remains are, this is the strongest imprint of what remains of this person's life and the time they had here on this planet. It's their soul, though, that is what we attempt to communicate with. And the soul is eternal. And so a lot of people have proved through paranormal research that energy imprints of the living are left in places where people lived. That's why they like to go to asylums or old hospitals and places where people have died, because the reticent energy, the residual energy of the activity of these people that lived there can be absorbed into the physical structure of the building where they lived. That's why a lot of people say, well, you're not going to find a ghost here. You got to go to where they lived. Where they lived is where their attention was. That's where they would, if they were still trapped and residing in this mortal coil, they would stay where they last lived. That's a good theory too, but I think the soul goes beyond. It goes on and beyond. Remnants of the energy of the soul or the spirit can still be here in earth, but you don't have to be at the grave of somebody to be able to contact them. This is my point. The soul is eternal, and they can be called upon from anywhere. You could be sitting in your bedroom in your home and want to communicate with the soul of somebody that died on the other side of the planet 100 years ago. You can still communicate with them in your current location. It just takes focus. It takes clarity of mind. It takes determination, and it takes willpower to exercise one's own psychic abilities to be able to make contact like that. But okay, so on the lesser idea of being somebody that wants to spend time in cemeteries to try and contact spirits among strangers, this is like a playground. And sitting at the grave of somebody, if you can get into quiet, deep enough meditation, I believe that it's possible to connect with the spirit of that person. This is their last burial place is like a catalyst of, oh, they got this great name here. Herbert Moon, Butch Moon. Oh, that's my artistic, my writer self that's interested in names like that, looking for creative names that I could ever maybe use in a story or something. But reading the names of people, you might find somebody that's got your same name. Oh, here's a far out thought for you. Thinking about, if you believe in reincarnation, you're alive now, and that presupposes that you were alive before. What if you're walking through a cemetery and you stumble upon the grave of who you were in a previous life? And this poor guy's not been taken care of here. What's his name? Bill? And there's a couple of people here. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Wow. This cemetery is actually good. They don't take away all of these. Okay, so same age as my mom when she died. A lot of cemeteries don't let you leave anything on graves, and that's not the case here. This also has not been mowed recently. Okay, 15-minute video so far, almost. Yeah, so you could be walking through the cemetery and you could walk right past who you were before. What about that idea? I don't know if I ever really heard that played about in movies or stories very much. Maybe, I don't. It can't be an original idea. But I look for other things too. I look like, somebody has my same birthday. Look for your name. Look for your birthday. Oh shoot. I thought it said James G. McCreepy, but it's McCreary. That's a keeper. McCreepy, that's, I'm not making fun of you, Jimmy. Yeah, okay. But to get good at doing any of this stuff, you need to have a clear mind. You need to be able to sit in silence and control your thoughts so that you can listen to the voices that might speak or feel the energy of, the spirits that try to come through. Let's see, I'm going to try something here. That's Mount Diablo in the distance, but let's see if we can... Yeah, there's Mount Diablo. It takes practice, it takes belief. You need to believe in yourself, in your ability to do this, to do these things. Oh, I know what I was thinking of doing. Okay, so I've got ghost hunting applications on my phone. I was going to turn one of these on and see if, except here comes the gardener. So this application lets you talk. You can talk out loud to a spirit, or hoping there are spirits near you, and then they will speak back to you. Okay, I don't think it's going to work because I think I let my subscription expire. Okay, let's try a different one. Okay, this is what's called a ghost box application. So what that does is it scans the radio waves, like of an AM frequency, and the sounds of voices that come through. Spirits, this is what's believed, spirits are able to use those voices, those sounds, to convey a thought or a message to the listener. I was partly trying to get away from the noise of that gardener as well. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I talked about a lot of stuff here. This is my second video for today. And yeah, the cemetery goes out. It's acres and acres. And I don't know who this guy over here, Gonzalez, is. But he does not want to be forgotten. And he's created himself this huge abode of remembrance for him and his family. Interesting, huh? The only structure like that inside this whole cemetery. Okay. Okay, so this was just really an introduction to some of my reasons of coming to cemeteries, and I will try and make more like this. Cemetery season is coming, the end of summer. It's going to be a beautiful time to go back out and commune with the dead. Okay, signing off.